Hello there! Welcome back to So Bad It's Good Cinema. I'm Scotty. You're not. I'm Evelyn. That's what's going to be the title for most of the trauma movies I do. Now, I jumped around on this. I'm going to do all four of these. Okay? As to my understanding, it's Sergeant Kabuki Man and another character, someone from Class of Nukem High, shows up in the fourth film. And they have all those on Tubi as well, but I'm not going to go through that many trauma films. I might lose my mind. I also want to do Night of the Chicken Dead, and might still do that one. I don't know, but I'm not even gonna do Sergeant Kabuki Man, so I don't know. I don't know about that one. I just want to get these four done, and maybe try to do some more Twilight Zones before the end of the month, because I realize we're closing in on that already. Right? This is the last full week of October before all that goes down. But we are here now with Toxic Avenger Part 2. And in this installment, there's a new evil big business chemical company called Apocalypse Inc. who have moved into Tromaville and Tromaville, and have hatched a scheme to get rid of the Toxic Avenger. So the Toxic Avenger travels all the way to Japan to find his father, though I can't remember exactly why he does that. No, because his therapist tells him to go there and reconnect with his father. That's why. Meanwhile, while he's there, Apocalypse Inc. tries to take over Tromaville and is... Yeah. This one is marked down from the last one, man. What happened? This one is also directed by Lloyd Kaufman. And all due respect to Lloyd Kaufman, what was this? So the first film was 1 hour and 22 minutes. This one was over an hour and 40 minutes. Close to 2 hours. Just a little shy of 2 hours. It was like an hour and 48 minutes or something like that. And I'm like, okay, as long as it doesn't show the runtime. Oh my. There are times where the film just stops so we can have fight scenes, so we can have a bunch of kills for Toxie. Yes, the first film felt like a bunch of little segments, but it moved at a brisk pace. The movie is halted. Any form momentum this movie is going is halted so that we can have several fight scenes. And that is no more bigger example than the beginning of this film, right? We start with the narration of Toxie, and I don't know why they chose this guy to do the voice, but he does not, after having big boomy Toxie in the first film. Hi, I'm Toxie, and we're going to talk about where I am right now after the first film. And yes, they break the fourth wall because they say, remember what happened in the first film, and then show us what happened. And then later in the film, I had to survive, or else there won't be any Toxic Avenger Part 3. And I'm like, wow, they're really breaking the fourth wall. Not just breaking it, they're blowing the fuck out of it. I don't know. But, yeah. So we get this evil Apocalypse Inc. showing up to blow up this house, this orphanage for the blind or whatever, for blind kids or whatever, that Toxie and his girlfriend. By the way, there's continuity issues. Melvin Ferg Junko is now just Melvin Junko. He was Melvin Ferd in the first one, now he's Melvin Junko. And that is all so they could do a name swap at the end with a character. Sarah is now Claire for some reason. And they've both been recast. So is the mom. Alright. Also, Toxie is seeing a therapist. And this is all so that we can be revealed that she's one of what is called the bad girls that work for the chairman of Apocalypse Inc. So Apocalypse Inc. shows up. They put this bomb, blow up the place, but Toxie survives, so does Claire somehow. And then there's like a blind woman and a blind baby that survive, but everyone else dies apparently. And they're all planning, they put a new sign up, they're planning on doing all this. The Toxie, is set to fight these bad guys. Which is, the Double Dragon movie? Oh, they had all those gangs. One of them was just like a mailman, and there's, a bunch of other ones weird dressed up. That's what this is. He fights a bunch of weird henchmen that all plow out of a car, so everyone must have a car that is doubles for a clown car that black people can come out of. And one of them is Michael J. White, who plays a fighter here, but then later is a businessman. I think it's supposed to be the same character, but I don't know. And this is his first appearance. But there's just this long scene of him beating up these bad guys and killing them just so, Now, I think there's less gore in this. There is some gore, but I don't think it's as heavy-handed as it was in the first film. I don't know why it went down. Because there's certainly more tits in this film. Yeah. We'll get to that. But then we have this business meeting where the chairman is talking to a bunch of his people about what they're going to do. And I'm just going, why is this taking so long to get through? Like, almost each and every one of these henchmen say something. I'm just like, can you get back to Toxie, please? Please? Because they're just trying to hatch a plan to get rid of Toxie, right? And so they say that we have a plan. His therapist took a little bribing, but she's going to work for us. But later it's revealed she's one of the bad girls, right? So I don't know. And so during one of the sessions where she's practically raping the guy, she's like rubbing on him. I don't know. She's practically sexually assaulting the guy. I should say that word better. It's better, the other word, but the R word. But yeah, she's basically sexually assaulting this guy. And she's like, you have to go to Japan. We found your dad. He's in Japan. Big Mac Jungle. So he decides that that's what he's going to do. And Claire supports him. He leaves Claire behind and goes to Japan on a windsurfing board. He forgot his passport, so he's going to have to go through, quote-unquote, Godzilla, the Godzilla way, Godzilla style. And that's just underwater. Now, something I didn't think of is, remember in the first film when Melvin was melting? When that cop touched him, it burned his hand, right? Fire flamed out. He's able to have sex with this woman. Because the last night before he leaves, well, what do you want to do? And they have sex. And we see Claire's tits in this one. They're nice. But, as I compliment a woman, she's very pretty. They make her more stupid in this one than the first one. She's blind is now just a joke for them. She's blind and she's walking around and she's left alone. No one to watch her. I mean, Melvin's mom is there, but she's not around helping her. So he gets to Japan and immediately he's scaring people. Freaking, the whole thing. And he meets Masami, who helps him out. Now, I have a big issue with this chunk of Japan. A lot of people speak in Japanese. No subtitles, so I have no idea what the fuck they're saying. They're just speaking Japanese. And I'm like, oh, maybe if you turn on the subtitles, because sometimes in some movies, they will do that. Sometimes movies nowadays, when they have the different language, you have to put the subtitles on just to understand. So put the subtitles on, and it says, speaking Japanese. I'm like, Jesus Christ. You have no idea what they're saying. Except for one Japanese guy that says, thank you. And again, during this, he finds his dad, who just accepts him. Melvin, my son. How do you know he's Melvin? Everyone else is scared of him, has no idea who he is. This guy knows. Yeah, there's something's up here. And it turns out this guy is like a Yakuza guy putting cocaine inside tuna fish. Like, actually, not a can of tuna fish, but like the actual fish. Tuna fish. Yeah. And so, so here's the thing. It's explained that Toxie's power to sense bad is called traumatons. I wonder where they got that name. Traumatons. When the town he's in is called Traumaville, I don't think you need to name a superpower after it either. Traumatons. And that's why they send him to Japan, because that's where they have anti-traumatons. Which presumably his dad has, but he finds out his dad is a bad person. So now we have a big gigantic fight scene with a bunch of Japanese kabuki people, sumo people, and when I say there's more boobage in this, there's like some naked Japanese women. There's a scene where he's fighting this guy in a spa, and there's just 3 naked women up against. You see them naked, and then you see them cover themselves, but it's just like you see their asses hanging out the entire fight scene, basically. And I'm just like, this is getting too gratuitous. And then, if that wasn't bad enough, I mean, it's always a pleasure to see naked women, never gonna complain, but it gets a little too much. He fights this Japanese woman in his, what do you call it, mumu, or whatever it's called. Another name for it. A gi? A gi? Yeah. And he slices at her, and the gi falls off, and you just get full frontal naked Japanese woman. And I'm like, that's about as gratuitous as you can get, right? Why don't you hey Lloyd, why don't you have her spread her legs open? By the way, during the sex scene between Toxie and her earlier, very close. Claire's legs are open. You don't see anything, but it's very close. If that camera moved an inch this way, meow. I'm just saying. But yeah, because like they have them cover really quick. Otherwise, any slower. So after that big fight, he fights his father, who he messes with his hair, and he's in a diaper. My own dad in a diaper. He's a sumo wrestler guy. And so he fights his dad, knocks him over where the sushi guy keeps chopping sushi, and he's not looking, he's going. And he starts to realize that he just chopped up Big Mac. Big Mac Junko. Big Mac. I call him Big Mac. And then he freaks out. But his head is in the case. How did him just doing this? How did his head get in the case? It's all off screen, by the way. And it's very weird. There's a lot of off screen killings in this where it's like, the first one was gruesome. It was dark. And this, what is this? It's nerfed almost. There's some gore, but not as much as there should be. When you think trauma and Toxic Avenger, I don't know. It just. But during this, the glass bottle of anti-traumatons hits and gets him. He's taken to a sumo place where he is saved by the sumo guy and decides he has to go back to Traumaville to save them. And he does. He goes back. He kicks ass. And then another extended fight scene and chase scene. And then he reunites with Claire and his mom. And then his real dad shows up. Because it turns out, no, that's Big Mac Bunko. I get confused. We get confused all the time. Is that the asshole that puts cocaine in tuna fish? No, we get confused all the time. I'm Big Mac Junko. And that is why they changed the last name. And it ends with another narration by the Toxic Avenger saying that now Traumaville is safe once again. Whenever they need help, they can call the Toxic Avenger. And it pops up the end, and then up top it says, this is not the end. Because Toxic Avenger Part 3 came out the same year. Yeah, they shot these back to back. Yay. It's another case that's so bad it's good. This was just, I don't know. I hope that they change direction in the third one, because this was just a set piece, some storytelling, another set piece, some more storytelling, another set piece. This is like they wrote a script around 3 big set pieces. The opening fight thing with all those people, the Japanese fight scene thing, and then the chase scene, and they would just build a story around it. Is what we think. Is what I think happened, and that's what it feels like to me. I don't know. This is a step down from the first one. I hope the third one. So, in doing my research, the first three are all in the same continuity. Well, the fourth one apparently is a requel before the term was even created. Came out in 2000 and is a direct sequel to the first one. And has to do with parallel universes. Yay. So there's that. But, yeah, like I said, I'm only focusing on these for now because that is the whole point. The new one is coming out, so might as well get these done. But this is fine. It's not too much to write home about. It was like I said, it was obvious that they wrote the set pieces first and then wrote the story around it. We're gonna have this big set piece at the beginning, and then we're gonna have one in Japan, and then this chase scene at the end of the film back in Tromaville. Write the story around that. Japan. Oh, and don't put any subtitles on the Japanese speakers. Look, I know that a lot of people complain when you go to a foreign country in movies and TV that, oh, why are they speaking English? They wouldn't speak English. But it's easier than, this is an example of that. When you, like, sometimes you can see a movie where they go to a country and you have subtitles. There are no subtitles. You have no idea what the Japanese people are saying unless you speak Japanese, which I do not. All I know is Ohayo gozaimasu. Domo arigato. That's about it. That's about the extent. Oh, sayonara, and konnichiwa. But that's about it. That's about the extent of my Japanese. I know more Spanish words than Japanese, although I still won't be able to tell what they're saying in Japanese in Spanish. But still, yeah. So, what are your thoughts on the Toxic Avenger Part 2? Leave in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Oh, by the way, there's a scene where they use a swordfish as a chainsaw, and then a hammerhead shark is a hammer. I don't know. I just remembered that because that's part of the sushi restaurant. There's just so much stupidity, but it's fun to watch. I don't know. So, thank you for watching. I'm Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.